am pleased to welcome Quentin Tarantino back to this table. It has been a time since we came here to talk about, first we talked about Pulp Fiction, then we talked about Jackie Brown, but the Pulp Fiction conversation on anybody's list of favorite programs that they have seen in the last 12 years on this show, he's on that list. So it's great to have you back.
It's an honor to be back, actually. I had to make a movie good enough to come back to do it.
All right. What have you been doing for the last 6 years? Give me the whole sense of leading up to this since the last movie you made.
Yeah, well, basically...
You know why I'm asking? Because I caught you on a plane one night, late at night.
Yeah, exactly.
It was an overnight plane from, I think, L.A., and I go to bed, and I look over, and you're scribbling away. I wake up, and you're scribbling away.
Yeah.
I said, Quentin is under pressure.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, it was, basically what I was doing in that time, along with a little bit of living life and everything like that, I was writing. All right, I was going to do this World War II movie, first. And so I started writing that, and hell, that was like at least 6 months of research right there, all right? And so I started writing that, and then along the way, it started becoming this never-ending novel. You've heard of novelists that, have this tomb, all right? They can never end.
A trunk full of notes.
Yeah, okay. This is a script, all right? And it's like this, and I can never end it, all right? And then finally I just said, I think I'm going to switch over to something else for a little bit. And then I started writing Kill Bill. But, and that took about 2 years, about a year and a half altogether. So the thing is, during that time, I was working. I was just writing, all right? And I'm writing it like the way a novelist writes, I'm just kind of alone and just doing it. I don't have like cards or graphs about this has to happen by this page or that page.
And do you write it in longhand?
Yeah, totally write in longhand. And I know where I'm going, but it's like, I want to do it like a novelist does, where it's like they're telling me. They can, the characters can kind of go wherever they want. I push them in a certain direction, but then they kind of tell me the story. Like, for instance, in the case of Kill Bill, it's like, I pretty much figured by the time we got to the end of the movie, she'd kill Bill. Right. But exactly what their conversation would be, I didn't know. Exactly what they would say once they got to each other, I didn't know. And I wouldn't know until I'd gone on that year-and-a-half journey of getting the bride to there.
Yeah. Well, here's what amazes me. I want to talk, first of all, the World War movie, since you brought it up here. Why can't you end it? I mean, what was it? You could not find in your head some logical concluding episode to sew it up.
And you know what it was more than anything else? It was it was writer's itis. I just couldn't let go of it. I mean, there was this weird thing about it where I had directed Jackie Brown, and then I had acted on this play and everything, and then it was like, okay, the writer in me, okay, now deal with me, all right, let me take over. And like, great, it's time for you to take over. Well, I let him take over, and I just became too precious about the page. It was like, had to be the greatest thing I'd ever done. And I just couldn't stop writing. I couldn't turn my head off. It's just like you keep coming up with another idea after that and another idea after that. And by the way, this is a movie, all right? It can't just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it did, but I was so in love with the page, I couldn't stop. I mean, now after I've done Kill Bill, I know how to end it. I know how to do all of that. But at that moment when, everything was about that, I just couldn't get away from the desk.
Do you view this World War II movie as your masterpiece?
Well,
so far, having not filmed a single page of the script?
Yeah, what I would say, I'd say what I have written so far, all right, is the best stuff I've ever written.
Best stuff you've ever written?
Yeah, exactly.
What is it that makes a Tarantino script? Because the dialogue is so riveting. Just watch the way they were talking there. I mean, you compel forward by the way people talk to each other. That's one thing. How do you create that?
Well, I really know it might all go away. But I mean, basically what I do...
What informs it?
No, well, what I do basically is, and this sounds... I get them talking to each other. I mean, it's just that simple. All right.
And you've got a good ear.
Yeah, I got a very good ear, and there isn't a lot of aspect when it comes to writing that relates to acting. All right, the way like two actors would improvise or something like that. But it's not. There's not that show-offy. Uma has a great line about it. She goes, "Look, if an actor is improvising and they're not using curse words, that's not improvisation. That's writing. All right. That's why you never see it. All right. If they're going to improvise, they're going to cuss. Yeah. All right. And so what happens is I just get the characters talking to each other. And what you're trying to do is create an environment as you're writing that Quentin isn't doing it. they're doing it. Quentin starts it off. Quentin knows the direction it's supposed to go, but then the characters take it over. All right. And then like an analogy I'll make is, okay, say I'm going to write a scene. I'm going to get to the coffee cup right over here, and I'm heading them that way. And then all of a sudden the characters make a left turn and they start going over here. Well, that's okay, because that could end up being the best stuff in the whole scene. Eventually they'll work their way over here if they're supposed to go over here. If they never get their way back there again, well, that was Quentin's idea and it wasn't a good one, and they were keeping me honest.
And the characters are better than Quentin at that point.
Oh, hands down. Hands down. I mean, to do it really the right way, I should be like a court reporter or a court stenographer. I'm just jotting it down. They're doing it all. And then like the director comes in after the scene's all, I shot it out. All right. Then I go and kind of clean it up.
All right. But here's the question. What is it you have that most people don't, without flattering yourself, though? I mean, there's something you have.
Yeah, well, okay, I mean, I guess that's God-given talent.
The sense of hearing conversation and understanding the nuances of the way people react to each other. I
mean, it's really weird because, I mean, if you try to pin me down on exactly what my religion is, I would be evasive, all right? But I guess I do believe in God, and half the reason I do believe in God is because I guess I believe in God-given talent. And it's like, it's easy for me. All right, and it's just the stuff that's easy for you. It's obviously not me doing it.
But is it the thing that you do best?
Yeah, it's the thing that I could. It's the thing I do best.
Put stuff on a page. Yeah,
I mean, when it comes to dialogue, it's what I do best. I mean, I think I'm pretty good at doing a whole lot of other things, but that's the thing that I'll put up against anybody.
Do you ever want to work with other people's dialogue, with other people's script?
Oh no, I've read scripts that have fantastic dialogue
that you would direct.
Yeah, No, I write my own stuff. So I mean, it would have to really knock me out and everything, and I kind of want to rewrite everything just a little bit.
Then talk to me about the editing process, because someone once said that Fred Astaire talked about dancing. He said, what I do, I create a 30-minute piece, then I cut it in half, and then I take 2 more minutes off. That's the way you do it. I mean, is that what happens? So you create this dialogue, or when you put it on the page, is it pretty much there?
Well, it's funny. Well, I think you should get it on the page. Get it to exactly where you want it to be. Where like, okay, it's right there. Like if the studio said, take out a line. No, I won't do the movie. It'll not work without that. All right. But that's how the page is supposed to be. All right. But then you do the scene. And once you get the actors together and everything, it's like, okay, lose that line. That's a crappy line. Okay. That's a dud. All right. Lose that one. Hey, how about say this instead? I mean, just monkey with it just a little bit.
That's fine tuning.
Yeah, that's just fine tuning. But then when I get in the editing room, then when it comes to the dialogue scenes, even though some people might disagree with it after seeing all the dialogue scenes I have, how long they are, I'm pretty brutal with it. All right, it's like, okay, screw that line, that's no good. Screw that line, that's no good. And I start trying to pack it in.
But is it because it's no good, or because you simply have to make it tighter?
No. I'll never cut a dialogue scene just for like a running time.
But just for momentum and rhythm and all that.
Yeah, no. If it's all good, then it's all good, all right, But no, it's more like you got to be kind of brutal with it, just to make sure. Okay, is that line really, really working? I mean, there's actually a nice little rewrite that happens on my scripts, especially when it comes to dialogue, after I get through auditioning actors, because now I'm actually seeing it on the floor for the first time. I'm not even talking about rehearsal. I'm just having actors coming in reading scenes. I'm hearing real people say them.
Yeah.
All right,
and so, what does that do for you?
Well, one, it's actually kind of amazing. All right, because I've just been hearing it in my own voice forever, because I'm always like, I'll write a scene and I'll read it to somebody on the phone or something, or read it to a friend. So it's always just been in my voice. So then when I actually hear other people say it, it's like, all of a sudden there's a lot of humor in my stuff. So I see a joke that doesn't work, or I see a line that people keep constantly tripping. Well, that's not coming out of the tongue easy enough. It's hard. All right. Or like an actor just does some stupid little improv. They say one thing instead of what I wrote. Hey, that's pretty good. I write that down.
But I'll bet you that Tarantino aficionados can listen to dialogue and not know whether even if they haven't heard it before. Yeah. And they can tell. If they hear 5 pieces of which 2 are yours, they'll pick the 2 out. It's just that distinctive.
Well, but the thing is, if Richard Pryor didn't do monologues, if he did what I did, if he was like put all his monologues into characters' mouths, all right, and create a realistic dialogue, I'd be able to tell Richard Pryor, all right? Of course, if I'd be able to tell Howard Hawks. Now, actually, when I say I'm telling Howard Hawks, I'm recognizing Howard Hawks. I'm actually recognizing Lee Brackett, Jules Firthman, all the writers who wrote for him, all right? But there is a Howard Hawks sound to the dialogue. Yeah.
Is it better because you direct it?
Well, nowadays
you can direct your stuff better than anybody.
Well, actually one of the best movies that in my oeuvre is True Romance, which Tony Scott directed.
Yeah, right.
But I think, I mean, now it might go in the opposite direction where maybe a director would be too faithful with my stuff. I mean, I can slash and burn it if I want, all right?
Yeah.
But before, I think it's the situation of I'm the only one that has the true confidence in my stuff. I have the confidence in my stuff that another hired director would not have.
Why is True Romance one of your favorites in your body of work?
Well, it's like a couple things. It's like it's the first script I ever wrote. All right,
yeah.
And that's one. And two, it's a pretty accurate portrayal of me and where I was at 25. I mean, I wrote it when I was working at the Videos for Video Archives, and all those guys. I mean, none of that stuff ever happened. All right, but having said that, to us who worked in Video Archives, it's like a weird big budget home movie of our lives. That was our psyche. That was where we were at that time. Not with gangsters and stuff. And I had actually never had a girlfriend at the time when I wrote that script. So that
How
was
old
like,
were you?
I was 25. I was a late bloomer. All right.
I would say.
So it's like I went on a whole lot of first dates. I was the king of first dates.
It was not by choice.
No. I was trying. All right. What happened though was, so that was sort of like my dream of what if you were actually lucky enough to have a girlfriend, what that might be like.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that some of those first dates now look at you and say, wow, why did I screw this up?
Yeah, hopefully.
This script, did it begin with a conversation between you and Uma when you were making Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, it's exactly where it began. I mean, it's kind of wild to actually remember the exact moment that it happened, especially with something that's taken 10 years to be made, and that's exactly what happened. We'd been shooting Pulp Fiction, and what had happened, it's an interesting thing. Uma was in this kind of like a weird situation in her life when we did Pulp Fiction. She had like 2 not so great experiences on movies. And, she'd also had like some success, like fairly early, like almost at 16 or 17 on movies. So, just like, when you've worked hard to get something, it's something else. When it just kind of happens to you, it becomes something else, all right? And she had a couple bad experiences, so she was kind of talking like maybe she's not going to do movies anymore, all right? And she goes, yeah, I think I'll do your movie, Quentin, and then maybe I'll work a couple more times, get some more money, maybe buy my apartment or something, and then, maybe I'll do something else, Yes. Hey, it's too silly a life to live, all right? And so what happened was I had this weird thing going on where I was just like, I couldn't believe she didn't have more fun doing what she was doing, because I'd been waiting to do this my whole life, and I was having a blast on Pulp Fiction, all right? So as I'm waiting for her to show up, it became this thing about me that, like, it was almost as important to making a good movie as I was going to make sure Uma had a good time during this process, all right? She was going to enjoy this creative process. It's a damn shame she doesn't. And so I kind of worked 24/7 to make sure that happened. And we really hit it off and had a great time. And then she was sort of like, then started changing a little bit as it went on, all right? I'm getting to what you're asking. Started changing a little bit where she was like, hey, Quentin, I think, maybe I think I'm still going to quit. But whenever you want to make a movie, I'll come back. All right. And by the end of the movie, she was like, oh, I can't wait to work again. This is really great. But one night after shooting, like you finish for the week and you go to a bar, you and the crew, and you drink and you kind of unwind. And I remember exactly what bar it was. It was in Santa Monica. It's a bar called the Daily Pint. It's sort of a faux British pub. And we were sitting there drinking pints. And I came up with I said, I'm thinking about doing another movie, Uma. You would be terrific for it, is if we would do a revenge movie. Now, Uma Thurman did not grow up watching exploitation movies, to say the least. All right.
Her father's a professor.
Yeah. I mean, he might have watched some of that. I mean, Bob is cool. All right. But anyway, what happened was I started describing it to her about you'd be the female assassin, you'd be the deadliest woman in the world, and these people have screwed you over, and you're going to track them all down and kill them and everything. Yeah. And so we started web spinning. And as I'm describing it, like, well, the way they always start is they always start with a person lying there and they're beaten up and they've killed their family and the people are looking down at them and everything. And she goes, hey, Quentin, I have an idea. What about you see me, my face is all bloody, and then the camera pans back and you realize I'm in a bridal gown. And that's when the bride was born. Yeah. That's when she became the bride. And then she eventually came up even with the first name of what the real name of the character is, all right? And then I proceeded to like write 30 pages. And then I kind of put it away. And then for the next like 5 years, every time I would see Uma, she would like say, so when are we going to do Kill Bill? When are we going to do Kill Bill? Well, I bump into her after not seeing her for 2 years, after I've been writing on this war script forever that I think is just becoming, you know, my, I don't know what.
Now, this was what, 99?
Yeah, this is about like God, yeah, 99. Yeah, that makes sense. 99 or 2000, one of the two. And I bump into her and she goes, so when are we going to do Kill Bill? I go, yeah, someday. And I go home and I take the 30 pages out and I read it again. I go, this is damn good. And then just the idea of working with Uma again just seems so much fun as opposed to this weird vacuum that I was in. And I go, you know what? Let me go and do Kill Bill. And that'll, by taming Kill Bill, that'll teach me how to tame my war film. All right. And I'm thinking, I'm going to write it really quick. It's going to be this down and dirty exploitation movie, 90 minutes. All right. Cut to 4 years later. We are now on Kill Bill Volume 2.
All right. But how did it get to Volume 2? How did it get there? How did you end up with 4 hours?
I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop
writing.
Of an
action adventure film.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think there was this thing I felt. I mean, not pressure like I was under pressure per se, but I was putting pressure on myself that people hadn't read a Quentin script in a long time. So the next one that came out, I had to be proud of it, and proud of it like a novel, not like a script. And I threw away all the script writing format crap and everything that I don't really like anyway. All right. And wrote it like a novel. All right. It's tons of prose and, you know, and I'm doing coming up with my own way of writing scripts that are kind of weird. They're not quite novels, but they're bigger than scripts. and like the page count is like crazy. Well, that's just because I didn't write it in a script format. All right. Now it's funny. I still think that that's a very pleasurable way to read a piece of work. All right. Having said that, I kind of see now, I'm not writing a blueprint. I'm writing literature. All right. So it's not for the production manager. It's for ever. All right. But then what happens is
this will live forever.
Exactly. Okay. Then I start realizing as I'm making this tomb, which by the way was so asinine that I actually wrote scenes in the script that I had no intention of shooting it that way, but on the page it was better.
It was so sweet.
Yeah, on the page it was like, well, in a novel, this is what I'd want it to happen. Oh, I'll change it on the movie day, all right?
You were applying.
Yeah, and so the thing about it was, it got to be, as I'm making the movie, I'm realizing why people make blueprints as opposed to writing novels, all right? Because basically, I literally had to adapt my movie from novel form to movie form every single day of a year of shooting. I just had a novel that I was adapting on the fly.
And so you end up with 4 hours?
End up with 4 hours.
Yeah, but did you actually end up with 4 hours and then or did halfway through shooting?
Yeah.
How did it happen that you had a meeting with Harvey Weinstein of Miramax and he says, you got 2 movies, or he confirms your instinct that you have 2 movies?
Well, I was, being a little bit self-delusional, all right? And what I was...
What way were you being self-delusional?
Well, I was keep talking myself into the idea. I figured maybe with 10 or 20 minutes left to spare that I would have to take out of the piece.
Yeah.
That if the first story ended at the first half of the movie ended at the 90-minute moment in mark, which would be after that snow garden fight with Lucy Liu. All right. Then that would give me an hour 10 maybe at the most to wrap up the rest of the movie. I thought there might be a way to do that.
In one movie?
Yeah, in one movie. Okay, I have an hour to finish the story.
Yes.
All right. And
so in the end, it'll be 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah, no. It was going to be, I figured like 90 minutes for the other one and then another hour, all right, to wrap it up. All right. And so, maybe 3 hours, maybe a little less.
And that's okay. That's where you're delusional.
Well, that's just the price of doing business. All right. I figured that was just the only option I had.
We're talking about a great script and we're talking about a genius, so why not?
Yeah, but I mean, the thing about it is, I wouldn't have had the balls, all right, to come out with a 4-hour, like what they used to do in the 60s, a roadshow print, like Battle of the Bulge, all right,
you would not have had the balls to do that?
No, not really.
You're Quentin Tarantino, come on.
Yeah, it's like, that seemed kind of daunting, all right, with an intermission in the middle and everything.
Okay, but is there also this that's part of your own mindset? you have got to be good this time out. All right? Because you created Pulp Fiction. Jackie Brown, which you liked a lot, did not get the same reception that Pulp Fiction did.
Right,
you know you've got to be good. You've done this acting thing, and you've been having fun. You've been hanging out with Robert Rodriguez and other things. But this has got to be good.
Oh, no, that's for
Quentin
sure.
has got to say, I have lost none of the juice that I had before.
But now, it's funny, though, because, I mean, I don't actually consider that, like, pressure in any negative sense or anything like that. It's like, I mean...
You don't feel like you created a bar that you have to meet every time? Or is that just where you think...
Oh, no, that's just where I belong. That's where I belong, all right?
All right.
All right, you know, no, I want to have... I have high expectations for myself, and I don't want to do slough-off work and everything. And I want to live up there. That's where the minute... if I start living down here for, like, 4 films, then I quit.
All right, then the only reason you haven't created more Pulp Fiction since you created Pulp Fiction is because you got off on this track. It took 4 years to write the great World War II classic that you have not yet found an ending for.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've got an ending now. It actually did work. It actually did work. That Kill Bill did kind of help me tame it.
All right, so you didn't feel like that you were losing anything. You knew you had everything going.
I was working on the script every day. It was blowing my mind.
Okay, so you've got a film. You think I can make this into 3 hours, maybe?
I'm full of it, but I'm telling myself I can, and with you know some few tears and a few bloodshed in there when it comes to taking stuff out, it can make it work because that's just the way it was.
Yeah,
all right.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, literally on the last month of shooting, Harvey Weinstein comes on the set and comes up to me and says, you know, Quentin, I hate like hell, but you have to cut anything out of this movie.
Now, he's seen what?
He's
seen a rough cut?
No, we had
just shooting.
Yeah, just he saw some dailies.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, just a few dailies. That's all.
Now, is he thinking just commerce or is he thinking art?
No. He was like, you know, he was literally coming from. I mean, look. Now that everything's worked out great, all right, as per usual, Harvey Weinstein is the smartest guy in this town and Hollywood, all right? But people thought he was an idiot, all right? And there was a gigantic chance that we took on this.
I mean, he didn't love the material so much that he said it's 2 movies. He had to have thought, well, look, Lord of the Rings showed that you can have one film that becomes 3.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, admittedly, there was some confidence there because we had that the
audience will not be turned off by the fact that one movie was filmed and became 2.
Yeah. I mean, the question literally was it big enough to do it? Was it substantial enough to do it? I mean, it's one thing to be a big epic like Lord of the Rings and do it, and whatever you felt about The Matrix, it was an epic. Yeah, exactly. All right? And so, it has some substantiality there. All right. To me, I was more worried about the second half because like I knew I had my big battle scene at the end of volume 1. All right. So will it bear that kind of weight? But the minute he brought it up, I literally, it was funny because he brought it up to me and then I go, okay, well, let me go shoot this thing and let me think about it. I come back about 45 minutes later and I go, okay, Harvey, I figured it all out. This is what we do. And that's exactly what we ended up doing.
So he was like a teddy bear about all this.
Yeah, he was he was wonderful about it. He encouraged it.
All right. So here's the question though. Do you have here 2 movies of which everybody's raving about the second? Not everybody raved about the first, except aficionados who love the genre, the subgenre.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are the people who said this is the better part of the 2 movies, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, but most people, most average moviegoers, love the second, and the critics love the second better than the first. Fair?
Oh yeah, well it was more split down the middle with the first one, critics. But yeah, all right, fair.
Can you, in your head, make an argument that I had one great movie here, one really great movie, and I ended up with 2 good movies?
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, I think one of the reasons, it would be very easy for them to say exactly what you said if they felt that way. One of the things that's happening that's really cool, and it's the only reason people are saying, oh, wow, visionary work or epic or whatever the hell there is they're saying, all right, is the fact that it's like when you see Volume 2, you also kind of watch Volume 1 again in your own mind, and you see it as one big movie. When you watch Volume 2, you almost feel like you've just seen Volume 1, and you've now seen the conclusion of the movie.
And you know what's great? You can go get the DVD for Volume 1 and watch it before you go into the theater to see Volume 2.
Exactly. And then one of the weird parts about this movie, though, it's really strange. I can't imagine ever making another movie that this would be applicable. Is just because of this weird way I did it, and with all these little chapters and so mini movies inside of other mini movies, it's like it's open for many different ways to view the film. All right, and what I mean by that is this. You can watch volume 1, see that movie, and then you can go watch volume 2 and see that movie, and then that's one experience. If you were to watch it as one big 4-hour movie with an intermission, you would have a different experience, but equally valid.
How is it different?
Well, it's just, but I'm not even finished yet, because it's also the kind of thing that if, say, cereals were still a profitable thing that you could do, you could literally release, it's like 10 chapters of this epic, all right? You could release one chapter in front of whatever new movie opened that week, all right, in the theaters, and at the end of 10 weeks, you would have seen Kill Bill. You would have had a different experience, but there would be no compromise in the, in that experience.
Do you have a sense about where you are in your life and what you're doing that just simply, I got too damn much to do. You got too many ideas, too many things that you want to do. And so that the task for you is to focus?
Yeah, well, it actually proves now to be kind of problematic in writing, because when I get my imagination started, it's just really hard to stop it. And in the case of both, I mean, there's all this stuff that I wrote for Kill Bill that just I never even bothered typing it up, all right? Because it already was big enough as it was. All these different avenues I could have gone down and stuff. And same thing with the last couple things I wrote. And it's like, what am I trying to do? Make movies that are bigger than movies? All right. I mean, I've seen a lot of really great movies, and they seem to be able to get it done in time. All right. I never really wanted to transcend movies. I wanted to empower movies. All right. But when I start writing, I write these crazy novels, and I don't know what to do about it.
Well, write a novel. That's what you can do. Write a novel and don't make a movie out of it. Give me the ideas that spawn Kill Bill beyond the notion of all the movies you had seen. Was there one or two that inspired Kill Bill beyond the notion of the opening scene where somebody has been badly damaged and they set out to do in the people who did them?
Yeah, it's like, there is this kind of fun aspect where at some point, but even way back when I was even talking about it with Uma, that this would be my exploitation movie, all right, where I empower and hopefully, make other people see exploitation movies through my eyes.
You wanted to make the best exploitation movie ever made.
No, I wanted to make the big Mamu of exploitation movies, all right? And, if you like them, then, okay, here it is, baby.
If this is what you want, I got it for you.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, by doing a chapter style, you can kind of change the format every time when it comes to a new chapter. But also with a revenge movie, where basically we've all seen revenge movies a million times, right? You've got like 5 people on the list. You're going to track them all down. Well, I was able to do a thing where, like, revenge movies, every third kung fu movie is a revenge movie, every third samurai movie, every third spaghetti western is a revenge movie, all right? So thus, I'm able to deal with all these different subgenres that I love and everything, all in the course of this one story. And each person on her death list, whether it be Lucy Liu's O-Ren Ishii or Vivica Fox, and brings the kind of Pam Grier movies into the film, all right? Each person kind of represents a different genre.
Right. And so what then happens in the second? So the second, volume 2 is just about killing Bill.
Yeah. Well, she's got 2 other people on the list she's got to take care of, all right?
But it's not really about killing Bill.
Well, it's about heading towards Bill. Yeah. And the thing is, there was an aspect where on volume 1, what I was all about on volume 1 is boiling down a revenge movie to its very essence. I mean, like I said, I just described what a revenge movie is. We've all seen it, all right? You don't need to keep emphasizing a story when you know what the story is, all right? So I'm able to kind of make a cool little action movie where I take all the boring scenes, all right? And we just go to the high points. And but also it was my chance to really prove to myself more than anybody else, to prove to myself that I'm a top director, that I can do action, because I've always considered action directors are like probably the greatest cinematic directors, all right? And even directors who like maybe don't just do action but can do action beautifully, like say like Francis Ford Coppola in the helicopter sequence of Apocalypse Now. I mean, that's just to me
choreography,
the pinnacle of movie making, all right? That sequence. And I've never really done that before. So if I'm going to throw my hat in the ring, I'm going to throw it in. I want to throw it in with the big boys. I don't want to be okay. I want to be as good as them, if not better. Not saying I am, but that's the goal. Yeah. All right. And at the end of it all, since I know action scenes and I know what gets me off, all right, then it's like if I didn't do it, I would know it. All right. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm not as good as I think I am. Stick to the dialogue. But there was an aspect about it that was quite thrilling of testing to see if I would hit my head on the ceiling of my own talent.
Did you do it? I mean, in other words, did you hit the head on the ceiling or did you not? And in fact, you tell me. You did not in your judgment.
No, I think I did it. Yeah.
You hit the head on you see. In other words, you went as far. You were as good as you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, hitting the head on the ceiling means like you've stopped yourself. All right. No, I think that House of Blue Leaves fight sequence, that battle sequence at the end, is as good as anything I've ever seen action-wise.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of it. Yeah.
What action movie informed you other than the helicopter scene in terms of what you thought was the epitome?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, the helicopter scene was where I started, but also there's in particularly in that sequence, there's it's a staple of the old Shaw Brothers kung fu films of like the 1 against 100 fight. Yeah. That usually happens either in a restaurant or happens in a casino. All right, where Jimmy Wang Yu or whoever comes in and they send all the guys and they got butcher knives and whatever, and they takes them all on. All right, and that's a classic scene in many kung fu movies, and like a couple of the movies that really informed that was this one Jimmy Wang Yu movie called The Chinese Boxer, which has a fantastic, actually the first of those 1 against 100 fights, all right, in a casino. That's fantastic. There's another movie, Shang Shi, who is literally like the John Ford of old school martial art films at Shaw Brothers. He did a film called Vengeance, which is sort of his version of Point Blank.
In that?
And there's a scene where this guy, where the Tai Lung, who is in The Killer, is murdered. But the thing is, before he's murdered, he fights like 100 guys, and they even have a sequence in it in The American Prince, where at a certain point it gets so bloody it goes to black and white.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's really cool. All right. Yeah. Then I actually saw the actual Chinese version of it, and they never go to black and white. I go, well, hell, I can take that.
All right, let me switch to casting. We got to see a clip first. Let's take a look at a clip, because otherwise I'll get lost here. This is where Bud tells his brother Bill, who's David Carradine, that the bride is coming for the revenge.
That woman deserves her revenge. And we deserve to die. But then again, so does she.
Tell me about you and Uma. Do you know of any relationship between a director and a star that's the same? Does any of that influence you? Do you look with all of your knowledge of movies in the same way you know all these scenes and think about, I mean, are you in some guru way shaping a career and a person that you have sort of total emotional and intellectual admiration for?
I don't know if I would say.
How would you say it?
I don't know if I would say shaping. I mean, if I am, she's equally shaping me.
Okay, but right, go ahead. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's it's funny. I mean, the example I keep looking towards, all right, is the way Joseph von Sternberg and Marlene Dietrich, all right, had their relationship, all right, and then there's a little bit, even though if I say it, people go ooh la la because they were married, and that's not where I'm coming from, but the way Jean-Luc Godard and Anna Karenina, all right, had their relationship on cinema, and me and Uma are friends. We could never make a movie together again, and that would just be okay. Would still always be friends, all right. But I like that team partnership thing, all right, that the screen teams, and Uma's not the only person I have it with. I have it with Sam Jackson too. I have it with quite a few people, all right. But the thing is, with Uma, it's special, and the man-woman aspect of the director and the actress is a very special aspect to this. And I do hearken back to wanting to treat her like the way von Sternberg treated Dietrich and show her off in the best way. And one of the things about Uma that can be problematic with her when she gets cast in other movies and stuff is, she's just so ravishing, all right, that like for instance, okay, if I'm going to do a movie that's supposed to be a realistic movie about a waitress in a coffee shop, all right, it seems weird to cast Uma in that. That sounds Hollywood. Oh, what waitress in a coffee shop looks like Uma Thurman? All right. And now she actually just did this HBO movie, Hysterical Blindness, which plays this like Jersey girl, and she was fantastic in it. So she's showing me how wrong I am. But you know what? You know my point. Right. All right. But the way von Sternberg, when he's going to do a movie with Dietrich, he built it around her. He knew her physicality. He knew what she could do. He wanted to bring out different aspects about her. All right. When you're writing something for Uma and want it to be, the Uma show, all right, right, I can write for her that willowy physicality she has. I mean, as I'm writing, she's going to look like the bomb in that yellow tracksuit. All right, I put her in Bruce Lee's tracksuit, all of a sudden it's not Bruce Lee's anymore. All right, and then her long blonde hair and those arms that are all elbows and those legs that are all kneecaps, and she just kind of like bends with the wind as she's fighting with a strike. Oh, that'll look great. All right, and I try to push her strengths and actually take her in slightly different directions.
Do you like the idea that there is the mystery of people don't quite know what the relationship is? There is a little bit about that. I mean, the problem I have with it is people always trying to ask us to define it. I mean, one thing that's happened that's been kind of a drag is, I said, oh, she's my muse. Right. All right. Well, I meant that. All right, I completely. And what did you mean by that?
Well, I guess what I meant is she's inspired me, especially when it comes to this movie. Right. All right, I mean, she completely and utterly inspired me. If Uma's mother never met Uma's father, there'd be no Kill Bill. All right. Having said that, though, I was also, and I meant every word of it, I was also paying her a poetic compliment, too. And now you go to a press junket, and then everybody asks that, all right? And all of a sudden now they're dissecting it, and this poetic compliment is being put under a microscope, and all the poetry is being drained out of it, and it's kind of a drag.
I agree with you, but
you're not asking that. But
no, I'm not asking that. That's right. But I mean, it is just you just know that there's some dynamic here that's not normally there. Yeah. It is the dynamic is from that you reflected on with Marlene Dietrich, but and is also somebody that inspires you to be better than you are, and you inspire her to be.
I agree. I mean, I don't really want to nail what it is I bring out of her or what she brings out of me, because I don't really know, to tell you the truth. Right. But I know it when I see it. Yeah. And
when you feel it.
Yeah, and when I feel, or even when I watch the work and everything, it's like, I'm a little different when I work with Uma, and she's a little different when she works with me.
She is the best of her. What? Finish it.
Yeah, I think when it comes to modern actresses right now, and she's as good as it gets. I mean,
as good as it gets.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Uma can go. If here's the thing. All right. If Uma is comfortable making the movie, if she's comfortable, if she's having a good rapport with the other actors, more or less, and having a good rapport with the director, more or less, and particularly the director. All right, if she's having a good rapport and she's comfortable, her work can stand up against anybody's. All right, but that's not the whole deal, though, because you have that. But then you add on the fact that she's the only actress, as far as I'm concerned, that has the true silver screen nitrate film glimmer, all right, of the, I can make the Dietrich analogy with no problem whatsoever. I can make the Garbo analogy. Not only that, it almost becomes weird. Like, God, Uma would probably even be a bigger star if she was in the 30s. Yeah. Because that was the time that people like Uma Thurman ruled Hollywood.
All right, roll tape. This is a scene with Uma.
There's one more aspect about Uma that I think we should bring up, especially after watching that clip and what we were talking about, is, you know what? As opposed to a lot of actresses out there, she's lived a life.
Yeah,
Uma Thurman has lived a life, all right? Her parents gave her a big deal life, all right? And her family and her brothers, and then her own adventures that she's gone on. And she hasn't just lived her life on movies.
She didn't start on movies when she was 7 and then end up with other experience.
Or doing all these movies back to back to back to back to back. So all she knows about life is her trailer and and the sets and everything. She has an intellectual curiosity that's pretty much second to none. All right, and
an intellectual curiosity second to none among the people you know.
Yeah, exactly. This person might be this, but her curiosity is right there.
All right, let me see. While we're doing this, one more scene to get this in. This is where she tells Bill that she never thought he would have tried to kill her. Roll tape. Here it is, an important part of this movie.
Could you do what you did? Of course you could. But I never thought you would or could do that to me.
I'm really sorry, kiddo. But you thought wrong.
You have a reputation for taking actors and maybe actresses, certainly actresses too. And in a sense, because of the way you cast them in the performance they deliver for you, it reinvigorates their options for performances and character roles. You've clearly done this for Carradine. I mean, why did you know? What was it about him that made him right for this?
Well, it's funny because I've always thought of David Carradine as like a magnificent actor. I mean, literally one of those great mad genius actors of Hollywood. With Nicholson and everything, and and
that's a perfectly way to say it.
And I've always and the thing is I've kind of followed his career, and even when he does like these crappy exploitation movies, not all of them are crappy by the way, but when he does them, he's always delivering the goods. He's got that great old pro quality, and he's got that whatever. Anyway, the thing is, as I was writing the script, I ended up getting his book. Or he wrote an autobiography called Endless Highway. And it is fantastic. His life, imagine, being John Carradine's son and all that stuff. He has lived a life worthy of a Charles Dickens novel. And his writing is really good. So he writes it like Kerouac meets Charles Dickens, all right, which is quite good, all right? And I was going on his life journey with him. And as I'm reading it more and more and getting more and more fascinated with it, I'm like, God, he would be a fantastic Bill. I mean, forget about all the kung fu analogies and all that stuff. That all ended up playing into it. But in reading the book, and it's like, God, he could be Bill. And I even had a compadre when it came to that. I gave Ethan Hawke the book to read. He loved it. And he goes, Quentin, this is your Bill. This guy's Bill.
After you thought about the idea and you're looking for confirming sort of sense.
Well, I just actually wanted Ethan loves to read. I wanted, you got to read this great book.
Yeah, right. I got you. Okay. Now, what did you hope for between the chemistry between the two of them? The chemistry between these two people, especially in a scene like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, I always wanted Bill to be older. I wanted him to be more like a teacher, older, mentor, father figure kind of figure. But, they obviously were lovers. And, it's dicey when you're playing with this younger girl, older guy thing, all right? So I wanted there to be sizzle. In fact, there had to be, or it'd be nice try, but no cigar. Yeah. All right? And I said
without the sizzle, the movie was not as good.
Yeah, well, the last thing in the world you want is like Uma goes to kiss Dave and the audience goes, ugh. Yeah, I know. And I've been to those movies. I've seen that, and I've heard...
And sometimes they're married.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, tell me about it. and so... I've actually said that about a commander. You're like, they have no chemistry.
All right, so you wanted to... And when did you know you had it?
Well, to tell you the truth, I felt I had it on the day, or else I'd probably still be there shooting it. But I didn't really 100% slam dunk know until we edited those scenes together. Because one of the things I wanted to do is just have this whole organic thing, like everything in its own time. It was going to be the journey that was going to tell us everything. The writing of the movie, that journey would tell me what I needed to do when it came to writing the scene between Bill and the bride. Same thing of shooting of it. All right, we would do that the last thing. So by the time we got to shoot it, we would be informed by everything we've done. Right, well, you know what? That was the same thing about the editing. I didn't let my editor, Sally Minke, who's worked in all my movies, don't do any assembly on the Bill and Bride stuff. We have to cut the whole movie together, and then we'll do the Bill and Bride scene. So I didn't know if I had my ending truthfully, like slam dunk in my pocket until at the end of this process, I cut those scenes together.
And how did you feel when you saw it?
I felt pretty good. I felt kind of relieved.
All right. I want to go to one thing here. Back to this relationship quickly because we got this on tape. This is Uma talking about the relationship between you and her on this show. Roll tape.
You give him a rule, he'll break it. I mean, it's actually the great genius of being a self-taught, self-created person is that nobody ever told him probably or encouraged him that he could be good at something, that he would be good at something when he was young and how to do it. So since he probably, I don't can't speak for him, but he had to teach himself everything. So he's completely original. His imagination, his freedom creatively, he certainly trusted me a lot and has given me huge challenges. And that is an invaluable thing. I mean, when somebody believes in you and trusts you and throws on your shoulders, the power to change yourself, to do something completely different you've never done before, it's a real gift for the actor.
Right. What's the most important thing you've learned from Quentin?
What would be the most important thing I've learned from? You know, he always surprises me. I don't know. He once said that I gave him wisdom and he gave me courage. And I can't speak to any wisdom that could have possibly come from me to him, or where it's landed, or what, or whether I possess any. But he certainly, I certainly had to find a lot of courage, and more than I knew I had, in this adventure, in this battle that was this movie. So, yeah, courage. I guess he gave me courage.
That's what you were going to say.
Yeah, I didn't know that was what she was going to say, and that was the first thing that came to my mind. Is
you give her wisdom, she gives you. You give her courage, she gives you
wisdom. Yeah.
Wisdom. How does she give you wisdom?
I don't know how you describe that,
right,
but she's wise.
Well said. Congratulations on Kill Bill Volume 2.
Thanks.
There is going to be Kill Bill Volume 3?
One of the things I'm going to do, yes, is... one, it's going to take about a decade for me and Uma to recover from this one. All right. But one thing that's actually really cool about when, one, I like the idea of being an artist and being able to do this anyway, is, I own my characters, so I can kind of do whatever I want with them. All right. And also that it's
you create them, you own them.
I own them, yeah. And Uma is something I'm going to know for the rest of my life, so I can make long range plans. All right. And one of the things that's really cool is I think 15 years from now, I want to go back to this character, all right? And what I want to do is tell the story of Vivica Fox's daughter, Nikki, all right? She spent the last 15 years getting ready to go and kill the bride, all right? And then I'm going to follow her journey as she tries to go and track Uma down and kill her. And it's very interesting because it's like, Nikki, the little girl, she deserves her revenge just as much as Uma deserved hers. And that will be the only way that the whole revenge cycle that started in this movie can ever end.
And then it becomes a trilogy.
Yes, exactly. But there's one other last thing. And that's, I love the bride. I mean, I really love the bride. And she deserves some peace. She's fought so long and she's gone through so much. I want to be able to let her put her sword on her shelf and let it sit there for a long time and not contrive some BS for her to take it down. She deserves a good life until, 15 years from now. I want her to have 15 years of peace.
The name of the World War II movie, which may be coming at some point, is called...
Inglorious Bastards.
Inglorious Bastards. And we now have an ending for that. Is that what you're going to shoot next?
Yeah, that'll probably be exactly what I do next. I mean, the only thing that's out there, I got to wait till I kind of chill out a little bit after this movie and stuff, is maybe I want to do some 5-week movie or something, some movie in between going onto another mountain.
Right. Sort of what Kill Bill started out.
Yeah, that's exactly what it started out to be. But I had a really interesting conversation. I met Ellie Coppola, Francis Ford Coppola's wife, and she just asked one question, like the people ask, oh, so what you going to do next? So I ended up really answering the question, all right? And I'm describing, well, look, I've just been on climbing Mount Everest, and I don't know, do I want to climb Mount Everest again, my next movie? And so I'm trying to figure out, do I want to do that? And she sits there, and she's listening to everything I say. And then when it's all over with, she goes, well, I think maybe this is your time to climb Mount Everest. You're at the age to climb Mount Everest. You're at the passion to climb Mount Everest. There'll come a time that you won't want to climb Mount Everest anymore. I think this is your mountain climbing days.
I think she's right.
I think she is too.
Thanks, friend. Great to see you.
Good to see you too.
Pleasure. Quentin Tarantino for the hour. Kill Bill Volume 2. You can also buy Kill Bill Volume 1 and take a look at it before you go see Kill Bill Volume 2 at the theaters. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.